All right, here we go. We got OG3, the founder of NBA, aka Never Broke Again, and older brother of NBA YoungBoy. And a dope artist in your own regard, and a business person as well. Man, thank you so much for coming through.
For sure. I appreciate you for having me.
Oh yeah, man. Well, I've been a long time fan of really Baton Rouge music in general.
Yeah.
You know, from Boosie, who's a regular guest, to Webby, to, you know, being a fan of Lil Fat and everything else that goes on with that whole movement. Of course, NBA YoungBoy has been doing his thing now for a minute. So appreciate you coming through.
For sure. I appreciate you for having me.
Well, this is our first time here. So I kind of want to talk about how you grew up. So you were born and raised in Baton Rouge?
Yeah, born and raised. 3800 block.
And there's 10 kids altogether, right?
Yeah.
5 from your mom and 5 from your dad.
Yeah.
Are you guys all close, or is it mostly like the ones that have the same parents are more close? And
really on both sides I'm close with all my brothers and sisters because I'm the oldest. So it's just like I ain't ever had no problem. It's always close.
Okay, you're the oldest, period.
Yeah,
out of all the kids, so you're almost like a father figure in a way.
Yeah.
Was that a lot of responsibility?
Yeah, for sure. But you know, that's just my role. So it's just I took on my role.
Okay. Now Baton Rouge is kind of a rough city.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, there was a famous interview that I'm pretty sure you saw with Boosie.
Yeah.
Where he said that Baton Rouge became hypnotized with hatred to the point where he had to move out. He had no problem saying that on camera.
Right.
He said, man, people I knew and people I grew up with started just seeing me blow up and getting more angry, and he felt like people wanted to kill him.
Yeah.
And he had to just move. Can you relate to that situation?
I mean, our whole city might have some hate, but most of our city really love us. You know what I'm saying? Because we put on for our city. If you come from Baton Rouge, man, we putting on. So it's just like, man, you know what up with us. You always gonna have haters no matter where you at, where you go. Yeah. So haters is gonna hate regardless of nothing. So it's just like, that don't even matter to us. It's like we got more love that overpower that. So it's just like the ones that's hating, they gonna fall off anyway because they gonna get over it. You know what I mean?
Okay. Now, you were primarily raised by your mom?
Yeah, really, my grandma and my grandfather.
Okay, so what happened with that?
Like, I'm gonna tell you, like, really, like, one day, my mama put me on the next door neighbor's, like, porch, and she left a note with him and told him, like, yeah, this his father next door, like, you know, this the baby. So, like, she ended up giving me to the people across the street, the other lady. And then that was Miss Butchnam, and she had 2 German Shepherds and stuff. So she gave it to him. My grandpa had came home one day and it was like, his neighbor had gave him a call, was like, hey, somebody had dropped a baby off over here. And she was like, you know, I think it's your son, baby. And then he was like, no, you know what I'm saying? I don't think my son got no baby. So he came over there, and then he just came get me. And then I went with my grandfather and my grandma till I was like 11 or 12. And then I went back with my mama.
Okay, what makes a mom drop off her firstborn child at a neighbor's house?
I don't even know. You can't even answer that because you don't know my mama struggle. So I can't blame her for nothing she did. It was for the better of me. Cause like, look how it turned out.
How old were you?
I was when
you got dropped off at the neighbor's house?
I was in the car seat, so I don't know.
Like what, 3, 4 years old?
Right, yeah, about 3, 4. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, with your mom, was it drugs involved?
No, I really can't explain no situation about my mom because I don't know.
Because, you know, fathers ditch their kids all the time.
Yeah.
But moms, you don't really hear that very often. Usually if they do, there's some very serious issues going on in that mother's life where this is just like the only option she's come up with.
I really think it was like, cause how my mom was living, like, and I probably couldn't be like where she was at, you know what I'm saying? And she really protected me by giving me up to my grandma and my grandfather.
Okay, but she dropped you off the neighbors first, and then the neighbors.
Yeah, cause she knew, like she knew that the neighbors give them to him. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so you basically grew up with your grandparents from like 3, 4 years old on to 12.
Yeah.
Was there a certain level of feeling abandonment because your mom just wasn't around? I mean, was she around during that time?
I mean,
did you see her on weekends?
I mean,
holidays? Something?
I don't really know when I was little because like I can't recall, but I can always tell you I was mostly with my grandfather and my grandma. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
okay, but did you feel some type of way that your mom's not around?
No, because I had my grandma and my grandfather.
Okay, fair enough. You had real family.
Yeah, I had real family.
Yeah.
So I always like had that structure, even though my mama wasn't there, like till, you know what I'm saying? So
I feel you. I mean, that's still rough though.
Yeah.
For a little kid, you know, you're going to school and everyone's mom's picking them up from school or dads, and then it just is what it is.
Right.
So she came back when you were 12.
Yeah.
And how was that?
I really went into real life. Cause she opened my eyes to like you coming back, like, yeah, like this how real life is. So when I got back with her, I really was realizing like, oh, the world like real. Like I was in the trenches. Like when I was 12, man, I went straight to the trenches. So it's just like, yeah, like I knew what the hustle was. I learned from the grind, like.
Well, you actually said that right around the age of 11, you were exposed to trap houses and you were actually sleeping around junkies.
Yeah, I was with what it really was. I was with my auntie, and she had, you know what I'm saying, her little shit going on, and I was in the house with probably about 7, 8 crackheads just sleeping on the floor, and I'm just in there, just, you know, just smelling.
Ain't nothing cool about being around crackheads, man. I mean, especially with a little kid who can't really protect himself properly, and you know, you got a bunch of people that really are not even fully conscious of what's happening. They're just trying to get that next hit. I got crack addicts in my family, so I know how bad it can get. It can get really, really bad. What was the worst thing that was happening to you during that time? Because really, you're being put. This is like child endangerment. I mean, it just is what it is. You may not look at it like that right now, but if you did that to your kid, you'd probably think of it a little differently. You know what I'm saying? You wouldn't put your kids in that type of situation. You have kids?
No.
Okay. Your brother does, though. You wouldn't put your nieces and nephews in a trap house.
Not at all.
You wouldn't have around drug addicts. You know? Think about what your brother would say if you did that. You know what I'm saying?
We think, so it's like, ain't like
right, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know what you say.